I'm going to shake back with another battle here. This is actually from about a month or so ago. This is my final battle required to hit the third mark on the T25/2. I had already 3-marked the T28 prototype and wanted to go back and 3-mark the previous vehicles as well. And I decided to pick the T25/2 to start with. I actually like this one significantly more than the T67 or the Hellcat, despite those being generally the more popular vehicles. I find that this vehicle plays a little more like a hybrid of a tank destroyer and a medium, with it having actually some usable turret armor and somewhat of trollish hull armor. The gun's solid, and if you compare it to Tier 7 tank destroyers, you might see it as a little underwhelming, which it is in all honesty. But compare it to the Tier 7 mediums, and it looks pretty favorable with the accuracy, the DPM, and even decent penetration compared to Tier 7 mediums. It's a little on the lacking side compared to the other tank destroyers, though. Like, for instance, I think the Yag Panther has the best overall tank destroyer weapon in Tier 7. This is significantly less capable than that. However, the overall package is very versatile. As you see here, I'm starting out with your typical sniping from a extremely typical spot. And if you just want to play this as a normal tank destroyer, it's completely capable of doing that. However, it has the mobility, the turret, and the flexibility to get around and also play a little like a medium, as long as you're careful to watch out for the slow turret traverse. As you can see here, tracking that T-3485, the turret was just keeping up. Now, that's really one of the only trade-offs with this over, say, something like the T-20. It has a little less hit points, as all tank destroyers do compared to mediums, and the turret traverse is subpar. Otherwise, though, this is actually a very, very solid vehicle. And yes, I am firing premium. I was very close to the third mark. I was at like 94.2%, and I basically was starting to get a little hungry for the third mark. The premium on this is amazing. It would be, if I were the type, it would be very tempting to load a lot more premium than what I typically carry. And the loadout you seen at the start of this battle was what I carried the entire way through, 3-marking it. And of course your armor piercing has 170 penetration, and that APCR is brutally effective at, I believe, just going by memory, I think it has 240 some penetration, which is, I mean, that's Tier 8 level penetration with good rate of fire and good damage per minute. Now, something I have to deal with, as you've seen there, all 3 artillery focused on me the moment I was spotted. That is something I've noticed every time I go to 3-mark a vehicle. I have to play very careful. So a lot of movement. And this is a battle where the team doesn't necessarily do a whole lot to help the cause. And you do sometimes need that. If the team's great, a lot of times you're not going to get what you need to 3-mark a vehicle. You kind of need a team that's not great, but not horrible either. And I think that's kind of what I had here in this case. And yes, I am firing my premium. As you see now, we're getting overrun, and every shot is critical here. And like that, the premium allowed me to punch straight through the front of the KV-3's turret. And now, it's time to move. So yes, you've seen a lot of premium out of me, and that's something you normally won't see. But also, I typically play German vehicles that have higher penetration versus this. Like, for instance, the 88, let's say on the Steyr Waffenträger, which is also a Tier 7 turreted tank destroyer. It has 203 millimeters of penetration versus the 170 on this. So there's a lot of targets that the Steyr will punch right through with its armor piercing that the T25/2 could struggle with. But here you start to see the flexibility. You can get up and move. Instead of just staying put and not reading the map, I've seen myself outnumbered greatly, and already artillery has shown that the moment I am spotted, they're going to divert all their attention to me. And my team's left this flank open, so me putting a presence here offers two things. I can be an early warning if somebody on the enemy team has decided to flank all the way around, which I don't believe that they have any chance of doing. All the vehicles spotted have been in the northwest, with the T28 HTC in the center. That only leaves the artillery unspotted. So nobody's likely to be here. However, I can offer a crossfire for the D-Max to hopefully help keep him alive. That's more of the importance of coming over to here. Because I don't want to be selfish. I need to get in a position where I can help him. Because he can spot, I can shoot. Or I can spot and he can shoot. Either or. But we can cover each other from this point and keep our remaining 2 artillery alive. Or 3. Yeah, we still have all 3 at this point. I'm just there checking to make sure that I'm covered from the left side. Because really the only thing that can happen is one of maybe the M44s move up this way. I mean, they are pretty mobile. And obviously the D-Max has been spotted or he knocked a tree over. And the T28 HTC would generally be making a move at this point. At least I would suspect so. And that's another Tier 7 tank destroyer that has the a little bit less on the penetration of the gun, but it hits hard. And at distance, its armor is very, very trollish because the whole front of the vehicle is 200 millimeters. And looking for, as you can see, I'm looking for the lower plate shot. Didn't get it, but I'm going to be able to finish him off as soon as he turned his side. The Tiger P, that's another vehicle. The T28 HTC and the Tiger P, at range, their armor is actually pretty good. Up close, they have weak spots that are easy to exploit, but at range, a little harder. That's going to come into play here in a bit with the T28. But we've pulled. This is, of course, a battle from May before I put the team bars on, the team health bars, which I do love that they added that. But I got rid of their D-Max. Pulled the scores even, but we don't have the information on the health of the vehicles. Unfortunately, our D-Max is gone, and this is where the gun at points can be a little bothersome at very, very long range. I can see that he's pushing the you can see it there. The Tiger P's hull is moving, so that T28's there. I'm using my HE to test and see because it's easier to see if you miss. If you're going to blind fire, HE, it has a bigger explosion when it hits the dirt, so that's actually very good for blind firing. Because if you hit with the HE and your gun has a quick enough reload, then you can reload to the armor piercing or to premium if you prefer. But test firing with HE is a good one. It's a good tactic to use because it's a good ammo to expend. It's cheap, and especially on vehicles where you carry plenty of ammo. But as you can see, our artillery, it would be our quicker artillery, they are actually moving, which is very nice to see. Because they will stay alive and they are going to become very useful. And there was 2 blind shots. I need to get my gun trained. I've got 1 more premium shot. We're going to lose the Lorraine, it looks like. And I'm trying to see if I have an angle, but I don't. I was hoping maybe one of the artillery could get him. And somehow I snuck that shot in. That was more luck than anything. Now that was obviously a hit on the T28 who was still spotted. Now I have a better camouflage rating than the T28 out in the open. If we're both moving, and as you can see, I actually run optics on my T25/2. I do not run binoculars. And if you look at both the white and green, I have my spotting almost maxed out. It's almost out to full detection range, which is great. It means that I can, again, like I was saying earlier in the replay, you can almost play like a medium. You have to be a sneaky, stealthy, long-range medium, but you still can almost fill that role. And now it's a slow tank destroyer and 3 artillery against a quicker tank destroyer and 2 artillery. And as you can see, our AMX 13F3, he's very fast. He's actually making himself be very useful. Yet again. And there's an HE shot into the M12. If we can eliminate... The artillery is actually the most mobile vehicles in this game. If we can eliminate the artillery, this is a situation where capping becomes probably the best option. Need to land this shot. And I do. That was a very critical shot because that keeps the AMX alive for at least this long. He's the one starting the cap. Now I need to get on there with him. Because we're approaching 3 minutes and 40 seconds, and this is actually a situation where this is the best option. I mean, he missed a shot on me. Now, there is one threat up above. I need to place the house into where he can't get a shot on me. And now, the other artillery landed a hit on him, and there's the M44. We know the M44 is over there. Now all I need to do is I can take the hits. I need to get around him. And I am going to be able to. But at this point, I don't even have to. Now there is 2 things that's going to happen. Either this M44 is going to stay in place / come at me, or he's going to do this. He's going to run. There's no way in the world I can get up and over this ridge and catch him. I was hoping that our artillery could actually hit him and track him or take him out. But at this point, I don't think that there's going to be anything gained by getting up here. I'm hoping there's still enough time, but I was hoping to get one last chance at a shot on him. But barring that, it's time to get in the cap. One person can cap with 1 minute and 45 seconds left. So I knew I had enough time to make the climb up the hill, turn around and come back down. If the M44 didn't get on there with me, I still did not use too much time and throw the game. But he got on the capture with me, so this is game over. It's just now a point of running out the clock and hopefully surviving the blind firing that we all know is coming. And as the seconds tick down, looking to see. And here's a tip while this is finishing up. If somebody blind fires like that, that's too far away, but it's good to actually go and sit where they blind fired once. I don't bother with it because there was only less than 10 seconds left, and M44 reloads with about 16 seconds. So that is a victory. At the 3rd mark, with an ace tanker as the last game to get to the 3rd mark. This one, of course, ended up with very good results, high damage. I got top gun out of it. And it ended up being a great game in the end. The GSOR on the enemy team got the high caliber. But it was a nice way to finish the 3rd mark journey. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.